promised a kind of behind the scenes look into the overall process that we're going to do to develop kind of this book out. And so the series is called The Engineer's Duck. And so this is the series that we are developing. And the first book is where we kind of introduce concepts. This is where we introduce the concepts and the whole idea and the universe and all that sort of stuff. And this is the book that we'll be concentrating, so that idea will come to the right. We'll talk about that in a sec. But the whole point is that we have our book and we kind of touch on all the topics and areas that will be explored throughout the series. And then we have books 2 through 7, where we'll get a specialty. We'll focus on specific areas of engineering in each one of these. And then book 8, we kind of combine a lot of what we learned into kind of like a finale type book. So you've got this kind of like developing storyline as you go through, but you've got kind of an overall message for the series as such, and then we have specific messages out throughout each book. And in the first book, so how do we develop out this book? We start with this idea, and the idea is to develop out our idea. We start with why. So you ask your question, why is this book going to exist? And part of the why is I want to inspire curiosity and kindness. So those are the kind of 1 and 2 things that I want as a kind of part of that why. The other parts of the reason of why we're creating this book is actually my son asked me, what do engineers do, right? So we start with a premise and he goes, what do engineers do? Because we're talking about, what I did for a living. And, it's a short answer, but it takes a while to explain because they do a whole bunch of stuff. So I started listing off, we do this and this and this and this. And it's like, hang on, this is great for story time. So yeah, that's kind of where the premise and kind of that why fits in. So we've got this nice book that we're going to explore some of these areas of engineering. And we want to, invoke kind of that curiosity and kindness into the reader. So, okay, what's the process to do that? So we start with writing the book. Sounds easy, write the book, but this is separate writing the book and editing. So you're not writing a finalized book. You're just getting out all the ideas as is, make it raw. It may not have to be really good English, but I started writing the book by just simply going through those things I was reeling out. And then we go into the editing phase. From the editing phase, you'll be editing at different levels. So there's the story flow, the grammar, of course, and kind of the readability, because it's a children's book. It's going to be rhyming and all that sort of stuff. In parallel, I've engaged an illustrator who will be creating all the artwork and all the different pages. And so then we enter this kind of cycle of development. Okay. And as we kind of do that, we'll get, out our author copies and we'll do our final design edits in parallel. And you could say that you should actually do this ahead of time, which is your book research side, which I did do. I'm well in this area and I kind of know this the market, as I've written books in the past. So this is like Count on Me, which is one book that I'd written in the past, and here's another one, which is My Light Can Shine Bright. So I've done this process. I'm in the kind of field. This just was like an opportunity meeting altogether. We do the marketing stuff and prepare those materials, and illustrators included in preparing some of the stuff. We have engineering IRL, which is kind of a huge advantage for us. And so through its socials, website, Amazon, etc., we're going to go and start the process. And this is, step 1 of that whole process. And then we announce our launch. So yeah, this is kind of the overall approach that we'll be taking to develop the book. And so yeah, I hope if you enjoy some of this content, I'll be releasing it as we go along through the process, including tidbits we get from the illustrator, how we do some of the writing process and editing and all that sort of stuff, which I can take you through kind of later on. Yeah, follow.